since I started working, every single day of my life has been worse than the day before it.
But lately I'm getting the feeling that I came in at the end. The best is over.
Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes. Working jobs we hate, so we can buy shit we don't need.
ここに来て毎日思う。なんでこんなことになったんだろうって。
Everything's far away. Everything's a copy of a copy of a copy.
다시 던져. 나 다시 던져도 너 못 이겨. 참 좀 멋있게 좀 지게 해줘라.
何かが消えてしまったという感覚だけが目覚めてからも長く残る。
100 years from now, there won't be one sad fuck to look at any of this. What keeps you going?
You know what it is, Theo? I just don't think about it.
I don't know why everyone is so rude. I don't know why you are. I don't want anything from you. Maybe a little bit of warmth. Maybe a hug, Dad. How about just a little bit of fucking decency?
Complaciendo para todos los bailadores con esta rola que dice 1, 2, 3, 4. ¡Eso! 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
'Cause all the girls love me. All I need is a beat that's super.
This is insane, bro, because I know for a fact when bro was alive, they called this man every syllable of crazy. And you fast forward 100 years and he ain't missed yet.
I think Skyblock, at its core, is the ultimate challenge in resource management. You spawn on a tiny island in an empty universe. All you have is a tree, some supplies, and some dirt to stand on. You have to treasure every dirt block, because if one falls into the void, there's no way to replace it. And as you carefully navigate your absurd circumstance, you gain a new appreciation for the few things you have as you meticulously use them to their fullest effect. With nothing but some ice, lava, and saplings, you slowly transform this empty expanse into a world of your very own. Skyblock teaches us that no matter how ridiculous the odds may seem, within us resides the power to overcome these challenges and achieve something beautiful. That one day, we'll look back at where we started and be amazed by how far we've come.
A boy who was taught not to cry is not a better man. He is an emotionally unavailable man, and at worst, an apathetic, which is a very dangerous man. There are tears that belong to my trauma, my pain, and my loss that never had a chance to flow, but instead were dried to the point that healing has often felt like a mirage. A friend of mine was murdered while I was in college, and when I found out, I punched at least 5 holes in a wall near me. Yes, I was angry that I had lost my friend, but I also didn't have access to any other emotion. When his friends and family gathered at his mother's home after his funeral, I stood in a corner balling my fists and thinking about how much I wanted to hurt the people who had taken him from us. I'd known his mother since we were children, and when she saw me in the corner, she walked over, looked at me for a moment, and said, "You haven't cried once for my son." I simply said, "I'm going to get them back for this." The words left my mouth not just as a statement, but as a promise. I had every intention to harm the people who had murdered him. She looked me in the eyes, then hugged me tight, and said, "A bunch of angry boys who don't know how to cry are the reason my son is dead. More anger and violence won't bring him back. Cry for my son. You both deserve it. Let it out." The tears that flowed from me then began to change my life. I cried for my friend. I cried over the father who didn't want me. I cried over how hard it was to cry. that was the day I started to truly become a man.
The simple narrative taught in every history class is demonstrably false and pedagogically classist.
Pedagogy is the practice of teaching. So Sako is saying that we learn history through a classist lens. When I first heard this, class is a really interesting way to perceive history being taught to children, and I would attribute it more to as a nationalistic lens. For example, the US wants to write its history books taught using extreme nationalism. For example, the US wants to write in its history books what makes the US look good, as the US wants to look good to its citizens or its children who it's raising up to hopefully be a good member of society to serve the United States at the end of the day. So things that they might teach children. Christopher Columbus came and we shared meals and Thanksgiving and got along, and assimilation is a good thing because people take things from other cultures and we learn from each other and live peacefully. It is an oversimplification of what actually happens. We grow up and we learn about the colonization and the violence. We learn that we didn't learn. We feel cheapened out in not learning about that integral part of our history.
Faker, yeah, you know what? My life is fucking miserable. I hate my fucking life. I hate it. Yeah, I stream for rent money. I don't like streaming. I don't like any of the games I play. I feel fucking depressed and fucking miserable. I don't sleep. I eat like shit. I have no friends, no social life, and I'm fucking miserable.
I'm gonna tell you a secret about everyone else's job.
Okay.
No one knows what they're doing. I don't know how to run an animal control department. Half the documents I get, I put right into the shredder because they're so boring.
But you seem like you do know what you're doing.
Yeah, I seem like it. Deep down, everyone is just faking it until they figure it out. And you will too, because you are awesome and everyone else sucks.
Did you know that if gravity were slightly more powerful, the universe would collapse into a ball?
I did not.
Also, if gravity were slightly less powerful, the universe would fly apart and there'd be no stars or planets.
Where are you going with this, Sheldon?
It's just that gravity is precisely as strong as it needs to be. And if the ratio of the electromagnetic force to the strong force wasn't 1%, life wouldn't exist. What are the odds that would happen all by itself?
Why are you trying to convince me to believe in God? You don't believe in God.
I don't, but the precision of the universe at least makes it logical to conclude there's a creator.
Baby, I appreciate what you're trying to do. But logic is here, and my problem is here.
Well, there are 5 billion people on this planet, and you're the perfect mom for me. What are the odds of that?
He had a breakdown. It happens to people.
If they're weak.
Live longer. You'll see. Life can even bring down the strong.
Help me make the most of freedom and our pleasure.
Fighting in mud, training for hours, and going years without seeing family. This is Kushti, a traditional form of Indian wrestling. Wrestlers warm up by preparing the dirt floor. Wrestlers cover themselves in dirt at the start of each match to create more friction between their bodies. The goal is to pin the opponent's shoulders to the soil. They use moves similar to other forms of wrestling, like locks and throws. With their feet planted in the dirt, wrestlers move slowly. A real match can last as long as 1 hour.